Welcome to the new cycle early access release. Build a new civilization out of the chaos of an apocalyptic solar flare. Grow your house from a lone shelter to an industrial metropolis. I'm so excited to be able to show you in advance of the launch this new challenging survival city builder. Think about Frostpunk. You can see some of the vibe obviously over here, but it's also gonna be different. There's a lot of things that are different. I'm very excited with this one. Yes, it is only early access and I don't have at this point a full view on the roadmap. The developers have promised me they have one, but I haven't seen it yet. But hopefully with this video, you'll see that the game is definitely playable, and I don't say playable in the sense that there's just a bit of content. It's like, it is already a huge experience. Going into new game over here, you can already see that we have two modes. We have the sandbox and we have the campaign. There is few others that are coming later, but there's already those two. The campaign is already very long, it's a story mode obviously with also a tutorial, and sandbox, you can change a lot of things. You also already have different maps, we already have 3 different types of maps, each with their bonuses and minuses. You have, of course, different difficulty level, right, from easy to expert, but you can also create a custom difficulty where, as you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can tweak to create sort of the game that you like. Now, spoiler alert, I tried the campaign in hard difficulty. I survived for a couple of years before dying. So in this video, we're not gonna play in the hard difficulty. I think we're gonna try a bit easier. But yeah, there's already a lot that this game can offer. So without further ado, let's dive right in. We're gonna play normal difficulty to start, but of course in the future, if you're interested, we can do, we can try to attempt expert level. Okay, so welcome to our first base. In this series, we're gonna try to survive as long as possible. I don't know how far we're gonna be able to go. Will we be able to get to, for example, the 3rd tier of population? Will we be able to get in our development tree to the ages, 7, etc.? There's a lot of different ages. Probably not, but we're gonna try. This game has a lot, as I said. Now, before we dive into the gameplay, also graphic-wise, you can zoom pretty close to the ground, and I think it looks really great. Obviously, this is maybe not the most beautiful game you've ever seen, but it's also a city builder, right? Like, it's not a first-person shooter or something like that. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I also like the UI a lot. You have your key resource at the top. If I click over there, I can see more of these. Right, there's of course also, if I hover it, I can see the production, the consumption. I can see later on when I click on them, I'll be able to get into, a lot more detail. I can change which resource to put there, if I want to. Here I have 3 tiers of population, right? We have our time, we can go very slow, it is basically, an active pause, or we can go into 3 different speeds. We have here our overview and reports. We'll get into this when I have a bit more things to show. Development trees, statistics, and the world map, because yes, there is no world map. We have the season at the bottom, right? We have my different buildings and also different layers, right? Like where is the wind to put, things like your windmills. We have the mining layers with the resources, you can see some resources there, etc. So yeah, UI works really well for me. You can see also the different tiers of buildings there, by the way. Yeah, let's just dive in. We need to start choosing a location. Let's go. First step, we've reached this unknown land after a long journey. So to a reminder again, the story is sort of like there was a lot of solar flares that destroy, all of the electronics, communication, all those type of things. So the world went into chaos. And we are, I think, 50 years later or 100 years later, something like this. It's like you've sort of forgotten a bit all of this, all of the sort of world that we live in today, but you're not that far either. It's not like you're in medieval time either. And yeah, we were a bit more kind of gatherer, and now we're going to try to create a settlement and transform it into an actual industrial city. So let's begin. We're going to place our first main hall. Obviously you can try to be a bit smart, but you probably want to be not too far from the sea, not too far from the mountain. So obviously over here seems like an interesting place. So this is the only building that's going to be built right away. Everything else, will take time later. So we have our camp. We can change its name here. Let's call it Gamerville. right? And for now, I'm not gonna talk about all of those details. We can look at them later. We just want to move right away into the next steps, right? We have unlocked a couple of things. We have unlocked dusty roads. We unlocked some resource gathering, like the well for water, gathering camp for things like mushroom, or the field camp, which is really critical to get us, basic resource like stone and logs. So let's start with this, and perfect over here, I can see I have access to a lot of different resources. So I'm gonna try to cover nicely. Can even put several in the future, right? And welcome to our community. We're gonna have messages from time to time, missions from time to time. Some will be time, some won't be time, right? So again, this is just a recap, right? They're saying the following years were humanity's darkest, having to wrestle with constant impossibility and despair. But yeah, civilization fell, and now it's time to rebuild. Everyone here was born into this new world, right? Like there's nobody that's 80 years old. We need to rediscover our lost knowledge and explore the surroundings. Do we want to start with the tutorial or not? Maybe I'll do it just to show it to you that, there is one. It's not like super long. It's not like the whole campaign is a tutorial. It's more really to show you the basics, obviously starting with getting a field camp that we just did over here. Now the field camp is gonna need to be built, right? And right now I'm in 0.1 speed, so obviously it's not getting built. Let's go to 3 speed so you can see quickly, or maybe 3 speed was a bit quick, but you can see my people coming. By the way, each of these people have a name. This is Alicia, this is Cody. They are different people. They have obviously needs, right? First one is they want a house, that's classic, but later they'll also want entertainment and many other things. They also have needs in terms of like, they need food, they need water, etc. And all of this is going to impact things, right? It's not just for show, it's going to impact are they happy, do they work efficiently, etc. So we now have our first building, the field camp. In this field camp, we can choose, do I want to put people on wood cutting to get some wood? Do I want to put on stone? Both. I know at the beginning of the game, we have a lot of people and we don't really have a lot of buildings. So I'm going to put 3 on both. Now, one of the only small thing I don't really like about the UI is I'm not able to move this field camp. Sometimes I would love to have it here, or, those type of things. It's not possible. Maybe they'll do it in the future. Now, those resources, you can see over here, the stone deposit, for example, and all those type of things, they are limited, right? This one, for example, 4,000, the wood 600. Some of them are going to replenish with time every year, for example, some of them don't. So you have to be careful with this for sure. Okay, so we're starting to get resources. You can see 6 out of 20, can accelerate the time. There's also, by the way, you can use your keyboard, right? 1, 2, 3 to move the game speeds. These resources, you can see them over here, right? What we're producing and consuming. Perfect. We have finished step 1 of the tutorial. And it's going to automatically move to step 2. I like that. So now we need to obviously start to transform also this, right? These raw logs of wood into timber with a lumber mill. And then you're going to see also an interesting mechanics there, which is that it's not just, there's one building for lumber and one building for something else. Is a lumber mill, you can do lumber and you can do paper. And then in other buildings, you'll be able to do 3, 4 or more. So it's a bit like multi-factories, and I really like this concept. Now we're going to try to put it not too far. Something like this, maybe. You can also see the 2 arrows, right? The 2 blue arrows. This is entry points for your roads. So we may also want to start putting a dusty road when we get lumber. Right now we don't even have lumber, so we don't really have a choice. So most of the time they can work without, there's a couple of buildings that need a road. Many basic infrastructure don't really need a road, but when you have a road, obviously it's also better. And what's really cool is you'll see, you also get tutorial for many of those buildings, why is it useful, etc. Okay. Oh, by the way, yes, I also forgot to tell you there is many different sort of options, right? For example, now I press Alt so I can see what's happening on the different buildings. For example, I can see this is producing this. I can see how many people are working there. I can see what problems we have. For example, over here, we definitely have some problems. So clicking on it, we can see what those problems are, right? There's no workforce, nobody's working there. We can fix this. sorry, before I do this, they're showing me what's happening there. Let me just quickly click. So what's happening, you know, as I said, it can do lumber or paper. In this case, we're going to choose lumber, right? Then we need some people. It doesn't have to be, you know, 5. I can have 3 if I want, but in this case, let's go for 5. Then I can see the problems, right? The problem, before there was a problem that there was nobody working. Now the only problem remaining is that it's not connected to the road network. And I can see what the impact is. The impact is minus 30 of workforce. So instead of the workforce being 100, it is 70 right now. So basically it's less efficient. Okay, so yeah, this is what we have now. As you can see, this is starting over here, right? Great. And so with this, we're quickly going to be finishing the second step of the tutorial. Of course, don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you have any questions. Also, if you have, you know, any comments, thoughts about the game, I'd love to hear. And I'm sure the developers will also be watching your comments. As I said just before, you know, it is in most games, in most city builders, a good practice to connect all of your buildings with roads, right? So that people can move faster. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build a road between the lumber mill and the main hall, which is over here. And by the way, while we're at it, we can also connect there. So it's in residence over here, right? We have the dusty road. You can see the entry point of this one. So let's do this. Here is the first road. You can do that like that. And I'm pressing shift to continue making some other roads like this. Perfect. And yeah, here it is. So it definitely costed me some resources, right? But now we have access to, you know, first road. Next, we want to start providing things to our people, right? And the first one, I think you all agree, is we all need water, otherwise we are in big trouble. So let's build a well and produce some water. We have also a group of travelers that arrive in the city. Do we want to accept them or not, right? It is only 2. We're at the beginning, so let's say yes. That way we grow a bit, you know, our population. That's always good. So going back into what I was saying just before, we want some water in the production resource, right? We have the well over here. It's going to produce clean water from underground sources. So, oh, damn, that's a shame. There is one over here. There's one over there. There's a couple this side. The reality is, you know, we're gonna need multiple. I don't think one is gonna be enough. But yeah, let me do this. Probably put it over here. By the way, you know, you can go into different build mode, right? There is a build mode that is free to place wherever you want, and there's a build mode that is grid. You can see I press the tab button. Now I'm in a grid mode. Here you can see the grid, right? Now I'm in free mode, so I can place it wherever I want. I think I'm gonna play as much as possible with the grid, but again, I really like the fact that you can do both. You don't have to not do it if you want. In this case over here, you know, I have 3 water deposits, right? So it says, you can see here in the top left corner, if I only had 1, then it's a lot less. There's only 2 bars. So try to be a bit smart with this too. Okay, so anyway, let's place it there, connect with a small rod. Good. Cost some resources, but create some good bases. Gonna take some time, of course, to be built. And in the meantime, I can also show you over here, there is a problem. Bring the necessary rainfall to replenish groundwater resources. So there was an event, you know, in terms of the weather. There's gonna be some that are positive, some that are negative, some that are half and half. So for example, this one, you know, it's better for my windmills. They have more efficiency, but it's not as good for hunters and gatherers. So, you know, always bonuses and minuses like in all of those games. Okay, so let's build this 3 speed. I'm not just staying in 3 speed all the time because I also don't want my people to, you know, to die. You do have to be careful. Now this one, a slightly strange thing is that there's nobody walking there, if I'm not mistaken. It just walks by itself. Or it's, I guess you could say it's people that just go there when they're thirsty. But yeah, we are producing water. So now let's move to the next thing, which is food. Food starting with mushrooms. In the future, we'll have many others, but we're gonna start with a mushroom. And again, for the water, you know, I can already check over here, production versus consumption. We're good right now. So this should start to go up. Resources, gathering camp, you know, where are my mushrooms? So here we have a bit of mushrooms, we have a bit of also meat, and there's fish on that side. Let me check over here. No, I think that's looking good. So let's start to expand this side, trying to get those 2 mushrooms here. Again, you can see in this corner there, like how much are we getting? This is pretty good in terms of mushroom. If I go this side, this is better in terms of meats, but maybe we'll just put a second one at that point. Okay, so let's go. Sorry, press paused. I'm not gonna put a road right away over there because that's a bit far, but in the future probably we'll do it. Okay, Holy, work on it. You know, we're building it, and then we can start. For now, we only have access to this one. We're gonna need to unlock those ones. But yeah, let's go. Producing some mushrooms. There is again a number of available resources, so you need to be careful with this. This is obviously something, you know, mushrooms are something that will replenish with time, right? Every year, but still. And now, the reality is I don't think anybody wants to only eat mushroom all the time, so we're gonna make a soup kitchen. But to do this, we actually need to do our first research. So let's go into our research tree, development tree. We have this one already done by default, and we need to move to the next one, basic construction. This is a tree in the sense also of, you know, I can't really do this one if I haven't done that one and those type of things. This is the next cycle, by the way, or next age if you wish, right? Like we're on cycle 1 foundation, and we're gonna move to cycle 2, new iron age. So anyway, let's do basic construction, start research. It's gonna take a bit of time, it's gonna take resource. For now, it's only timber for that one, but later on, you know, it will be more complex resources, of course. And it also takes this resource there, which is over here, it's your knowledge. So you get knowledge with how many people you have and, you know, what type of people you have. There's also some effects, of course, multipliers, those type of things. But yeah, this is a good start. So let's do it. You can also see it over here, right? It's slowly getting full. When it's full, it's basically finished and you can move to, you know, the next thing, which is to build the soup kitchen. Okay, done. While we're at it, you know, I'm gonna get a bit crazy and just start the next one right away because we have all of the resources needed for it. And in the meantime, let's go into production, soup kitchen. So soup kitchen, to make some meals, we're gonna make it maybe towards here. So seems good. Day-night cycle, true, I forgot about telling you this. If I click on the day, we're on day 22 already, so slow start, of course. You can choose, you know, do I want, a bit like in Anno 1800, do I want to always be at night, do I want to always be in the morning, etc., or do I just want to have a cycle? Okay, so let's see, it's gonna get built. As always, they're bringing the resources, starting to work on it. Good job, guys and girls and women. And done.
Great. We will survive.
Yes, we will. You're right. So again, this is a bit of a multi-factory, right? Where I can decide to do either one or the other. For now, I only have that one available. And I can also choose the recipe, right? Where I can choose, is it going to use mushroom, fish, meat, or vegetables? And each of these you know, requires different types of resources, will also require, or sorry, make a different amount of resources. In this case right now we only have mushroom for now, right? But you can see over here we'll have more in the future. So let's do a mushroom soup for people for now. So great workforce, perfect. And here we can see as soon as it starts, it always takes, you know, oh, we finished one more research, nice. Yeah, as I was saying, it just takes always a minute to start, but now it's starting. Production is 7, that seems strange. Maybe it's just because it's still starting. Because, oh yeah, perfect, 29, okay. So now it is, perfect. Explore the population management. Yeah, maybe this is a good time for us to start looking at, you know, some of the different reports that you have available to you. First of all, as I said, you can click on a resource and see more details. So for example, my logs over here, you can see how much I'm consuming, how much I'm producing, right? That's easy. You can put it for the day, by days, by season, by year, right? A lot of different things over here. Also my storage, right? My storage is increasing, so all good. I think pretty clean, slick, I like it. You can also click here on table to see multiple resources at once. Right? For example, these I think are my key resource right now, and I can look at it and see, okay, I'm making definitely a lot more than what I'm using, so that's perfect. There's also a summary tab over here, but to be honest right now, there's so little things in my city that it's not so useful. And then an annual report, which is at the end of each year, we're gonna get one annual report, a bit like for companies. We haven't finished the first year, so we don't have one yet. Then just below it, if I click on my people, I can start seeing what's happening for them. This is really the management of my people. Let me just quickly click on those things so I can explain to you without having to read those things. So first of all, we have 3 classes of people, at least right now: workers, craftsmen, and specialists. We'll get to them, in the future. The next 2, you basically evolve your population a bit like in Anno, but there's some interesting mechanics there too. They all have also sort of different strengths, let's say. Then you have your population. I have 39 adults, 21 are not working. I don't have any child right now because nobody is born yet, and we don't have anybody sick. Obviously, the sick and the child, this is population that you need to feed, but they're not gonna work. So that's obviously something to keep in mind. Then before we talk about this over here, let me show you over here, which is for my workers, what do they need? Well, they want food, right? They want water, they want tools, clothes, they want housing. Right now, nobody has a house. If I only had one house, for example, maybe it would be 20%. So those type of things. And entertainment, health, and security. When we get, into craftsmen and specialists, they're also gonna need different things, new things. But for this is the basics, right? And each of those goods in particular, and also, housing, this is going to provide some morale. So morale is over here, right? Right now my morale is, and that's a bit the equivalent of happiness, let's say, right? This is -3 because I'm giving some things, a bit of food, a bit of water, but at the same time, we also have the workforce problem, which is basically I'm making them work, right? Workforce is this one over here, where you can choose, are you working basically a normal day? Are you working 8 hours per day? That's the normal one. And in this case, that's going to decrease my happiness by 8. Now I can tell them, to work not 8 hours, maybe 6 hours per day, right? That's 75. Then obviously the efficiency of all of my production is gonna be reduced because people work less, but my happiness, malus is lower. Instead of -8, it's -5. And if I tell them to work basically only half days, then it's +5. And I can also go in the other side where I tell them, you're gonna work, basically the whole day, almost, just sleep a bit, a few hours. Then obviously they're gonna be very unhappy. So this workforce also impact, the morale, and then in turn, the morale is going to influence my efficiency, which is when there is a low morale in the population, they're obviously, they go to work, they may go to work 8 hours per day, but they're gonna not be very efficient. It's like if your stomach is empty, you're not gonna be working very hard, right? So you want to try to get the morale higher by providing housing, entertainment, etc., and by providing also the different needs of supply, so food, water, etc. Now for each of these, you can also decide what you want to do. So for example, for food right now, the distribution is only on low. I'm only giving, a low ration, you could say half ration. Now you could increase this, right, to medium, regular, extra, or double. The more you increase it, of course, the more it's going to consume, right? This one, for example, is like 8 per day, in a sense, versus this one is 31 per day. So you can see it has increased significantly, but of course the morale also increase when you do this. Same for water, etc. And there's also, as you can see, some other sort of bonuses or maluses, which is that low distribution in this case increases chance of illness, which makes sense, right? So a lot of things we can do with our people, a lot of things you can see over here. There's also some other reports over there, right? The statistics we just mentioned. Yeah, we're gonna put regular, give me a second. And over here, I also have some other overviews and reports that we'll look at in the future. Things like how many resources across my city right now are available, electricity, etc. But yeah, as I said, let's set food distribution to regular. That's going to increase my consumption for sure, but also increase my morale, right? It's going to increase my morale as soon as I start really giving it to them. By the way, as I mentioned before, if I click on different things, there may be a tutorial. Like over here, this is a tutorial for road that shows me how to do roads or to shift from the grid to the non-grid. And you also have at the top over here the help and encyclopedia that has even more details for all of those things, like times and season, the global map, etc. Obviously, as always, this may not be exactly the version that goes into early access when you get to it, right? Because there's a few days that's still gonna happen, and I know they're still doing QA and bug fixing, but still wanted to show it to you as soon as possible. Now we're getting towards the end of the tutorial, but again, this is basically just the beginning of the game, right? Like, this is not everything the game has to offer. There's a lot more. So yes, we need to basically start, helping our population, right? Right now we have still a pretty low morale. There's many things that we're not giving to our people, etc. As they say, obviously health is very important. Nutrition, water are super important. But then we also need to make sure that we start doing things beyond this, and also that we need to be able to survive for the season. For example, in winter, you're not gonna have access to the same amount of food, right? So you need to have reserves for winter, those type of things. I know it's a bit classic for survival games, but obviously that's very important. As I was saying just before, there's also this overview and report over here on the left that's very useful, in particular now, to know what should we do. Because if I look, I can see my attraction, so how many people will want to come into the city is, very low, -48. Why? Because my distribution rate for water is very low, right? I'm giving barely any water to my people. Similarly, my health is very low, it's -30. Why? We can see, well, this water again is a big one. There's also housing, right? They don't have access to housing. That's not great either. So we probably want to change that pretty soon. I was telling you earlier, right, that each of your people has a name, they're individually simulated, etc. You can see the list of your people over here, right? And I can see also, what's happening to them. For example, when I only have one house, I can see which one lives in this house, etc. There I can see all of my different buildings, how many people are working there, what they're doing, right? I can go directly to the location, those type of things. So that's very good. Then we have the materials, right? Many resources, those type of things. So there's a lot of things that we can do. We have, again, finished right now the tutorial, but that's just the beginning of the game, I can assure you. Looking over here, okay, see, problem. Production lower than consumption. So right away, if we want to be able to survive, we're gonna need to put a second of those kitchen, and probably also second mushroom. So that's gonna be tough. I think instead, right now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna play it slightly safer and put this into medium, but at the same time, we're going to also put this one into medium. I'm gonna check if that's okay in terms of the production of water. I think you always see it the next day, basically. You need to go to the next day to have this change. And what I want to focus on right now is to create some housing, create some shacks, let's say. So let's go. We're going to create, actually, sorry, let me just double check quickly. So wind, mining, fertility. Oh, it's very fertile there, but it's not fertile over here. So maybe actually we're gonna put the housing quarter over here, because there doesn't seem to be many interesting things over here. Okay, so let's go. Let's put some houses. This is not the same size, so maybe let's do it like this. We're gonna put, oh, sorry, I forgot to press shift. So yes, instead, you know, as I said previously, just press shift when you're placing a building, and this way you can place another one next to it. So perfect. I don't want to destroy that rock there, so we need to be careful. Let's rotate it with R. Good. And in this case, I think we will put a road, otherwise it's gonna look a bit strange. Good. Okay, so build this for me. Let's go to next day quickly. I think we're fine. I mean, mushroom is stuff 72 for 72, so we probably want to also increase our mushroom production. So let's put a second gathering camp. Oh, and we are now in winter, as you can see. And by the way, for the consumption, you can also see them over here, right? 16 per days, 58 per days. Mushroom gathering altered, yes. And so this is going down very quickly, as you can see. So that's a problem for food. Health is down because it's winter, and we also have a problem with electricity. I haven't started to make electricity here, so that makes sense. So my houses basically have no power, so that's not great. And anyways, we are at 0 for mushrooms, so my production of simple meal is now going to stop soon, and therefore we need to hope that we still have enough to survive. Winter obviously is always tough. That's what you can see over here. There is a warning, right? We don't have enough mushroom to start the production. While this is happening, maybe let's actually check in our houses, you know, simple houses over here. We can see how many people are in there. We can see if they have access to services like entertainment, etc. Right? In the future, we'll be able to also upgrade them to different tiers. But more importantly, what I did want you to do is to check my coverage. Yes, perfect. We have 100% coverage in terms of people. As soon as we get new people, probably that won't be enough. But for now, those 4 were enough. By the way, we also have our first children. 3 children were born. We can even see it over here in my log. Day 29, 3 children were born this year. Okay, let's continue to accelerate. I want to get this winter over. And done. We have survived year 1. Right? With year 1, end of year 1, we get this report, as I said. Population 0 died, 4 new people, 3 births. That's good. The resources like water, mushroom, they're replenished by 50% only this year. Some years may be very low, some years may be very high. So we do have to also keep that in mind. We have built, you know, some new houses and structures, 2 new research, and no significant event. Now the key thing is I want to move to the next stage, right? We're sort of finished with cycle 1. I want to move to cycle 2 with those new research, in particular also the power grid over here to get me some power because my houses don't have power right now. Now to be able to do this, we're gonna want, over here, clicking there, to see what is required to move to the next age. So to move to the next age, I need 700 of knowledge. I have 1,300, so that's fine. But I also need 40 people. I don't have 40 people yet. So I want to basically attract more people, right? So attracting more people, as we said just before in my overview, if I go into life, the attraction is over here. Right, I can increase the water, food, maybe more housing again, because right now I think the housing is enough, but it's full basically. Healthcare. So let's try to do this. Maybe I'll build 1 more house, and I'll try to also improve my food production now that we're back, into new year. But we do need to be careful, about the amount of resources, not huge. I could probably also increase water. So let's try to do this again. We have a bit of resource, so that's not the problem. I'm going to put that one over here with a road there and a road. Actually, sorry, just checking. This is not perfectly aligned, but okay. You cannot move buildings as far as I'm aware. Maybe that's something that could be an option in the future. Because, I'd love to be able to move this one there, for example. But wait, actually, no, this is demolition. That's what I thought. So yes, we have now 1 more residence. Then I also want 1 more well. So not on this side because we already have a well taking those this water, but maybe more on that side. Yeah, perfect. Let me see. So the road is there. Perfect. Something like this. As close as possible. Also a small road. Good. So more water. We have more, you know, of the mushroom production. That should be increasing now. And so maybe let's also put one more food, soup kitchen here. Good. And let's build the whole thing. Right, we still have 18 people not working, so that should be fine for all of those production. See my people building, all good. The shack is complete. Water will be complete very soon, perfect. So we're also producing 96 per day, 96 per day, love it. And over here we need to select the resource, and again mushroom because that's the only thing we have right now. Put some people on it. Good. What is happening there? Oh, my storage is almost full. That's definitely something not great. And we have this great positive one over here, refreshments. It's like the new year, right? At the end of summer, at the end of winter, sorry. Everybody is happy. So that's good. But as I said, we have a problem where we need more storage. So stockpile, we need to put it probably a bit more this side, right, towards the productions. I am going to leave one space for a road going this side in the future. Perfect. And yeah, where is my 40th people? Nobody wants to come to my city. It's not nice. But what we can do, as I said, is obviously increase now. Is double, so that's why I put a second one. And we're gonna try also for food, because with this our morale should definitely increase. We're now way into positive, right? So that's great. Our efficiency has jumped from 30 to 70, right? Can't complain about this. And more importantly, I'm pretty sure this should increase. Maybe need to wait one more day, sorry. This is slightly, I don't know if it's annoying me or if it's normal that, you know, it takes a day or so for those things to update. But yeah, now it's on positive, plus 18. The only thing that are really not great is workforce condition, but we don't really have a choice. We need more people to work. And healthcare, I don't have access to it yet. So this is perfect, I love it. We're in positive for both of these. I think we're making... Oh, we're consuming more mushroom than we're making. So what we can potentially do is if I do this, that should be enough. Again, we probably need to, yeah, that's enough. Here we're fine. And here we seem to be totally fine. This is a huge production, actually. But that's fine. Like, it's good to have reserves of food. This food doesn't spoil as far as I know. You know, could be a mechanic that they introduce in the future, but for now it is not there. I am also going to put a second field camp, and I explain in just a second why. I'm just trying to think where is the best place. The reason I want to make a new one is there's no more wood available in this for that one here. So I can take those people out, right? And instead we're going to put, you know, this one can focus on wood. Okay, it's summer. Oh, there's a low water production. Oof, that is bad. That is bad, yeah. My water is a bit in trouble, but we do have quite a bit in reserve, so I'm gonna leave it like this for now. Oh, there's a group of traveler that's arriving, perfect. So that's gonna get me over the 40 needed to move to cycle 2, right? By the way, you can see the 8 cycles that are available right now. So who knows, there may be even more. I know that when you get to 7, for example, this is when you get access to trains. So again, just to give you an idea, this is gonna get exponentially way bigger. The good thing is, yeah, we have some workers, so I probably will have to expand very quickly into new places for more mushrooms and things like this. But with the new cycle, the Iron Age, cycle 2, we also get access, to new resources like meat and fish. So that's gonna help with my food. We're also going to get access to iron to make some tools. The iron would be made from the iron ore. So you start seeing also sort of the production chains that are getting more complex. We're gonna do this obviously in the smith and the forge. We're gonna get access to the tavern. It's gonna be a very interesting sort of mechanics around the services and the windmill of first electricity production. There's going to be many types of electricity or fuels in the future. But yeah, I think our H2, again, see over here sort of the research, then we get H3 there. What do we need for H3? We're going to need 50 people and 2,200 of knowledge. So we may actually get to that one pretty quickly. And there you can see all, again, way more resources right away. So that's coming fast. But I think that will wait for the next episode. Don't worry, the next episode will come really fast. I'm gonna try to really get you, a lot of quick episode. We're also going to continue in the meantime, our Anno 1800 series or Satisfactory series. Don't worry about this. But yeah, do tell me in the comments below if you like New Cycle. Are you excited for it? Are you going to buy it? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Smash the like button and I hope to see you next time.